Carol Ann from the Listening Labs. Welcome to the channel, which is all about how listening can transform all of our relationships. Today I'm going to talk about the place of listening in giving negative feedback. Yes, in those moments we do need the other person to hear our feedback, but the impact really comes in how we choose to listen to the person to whom we're actually giving the feedback. I'm going to cover three things in this video. Number one, why receiving negative feedback can feel uncomfortable. Number two, I'm going to explain 2 steps that how you can get into that powerful, curious listening mode to get the most out of a feedback session. And number 3, I'm going to reveal what happens when you use these steps. So let's get to number 1. What actually happens when we receive negative feedback? Well, sitting here today, I would love to be able to say to you that when I receive negative feedback, I am so evolved that in that first moment, the feedback slides off me like water off a duck's back. But it doesn't. It just doesn't. When we receive negative feedback, our amygdala, those little almond-shaped parts of our reptilian brain, they detect threat and they send us into flight, fight, or freeze response. And that's hardwired in all of us. And it's why when you're giving negative feedback to someone, you might get that defensive reaction or response. In giving negative feedback, you can't assume that the person receiving your feedback sees their behaviour in the way that you see it. So the story that you're telling them might be very different to what they've been telling themselves, and this can blindside them. So we need to be able to get curious and find out their story. So number 2, how do we do that? We do that by using a combination of curiosity and listening. And here are the 2 steps that you can take. So once you've given your feedback, number 1, ask the other person's opinion of what you've just said. And number 2, and this is a critical step, create space for them by really listening to their answer and using their response as a basis to move forward. It takes intention to listen well, and people need it most of all when they feel vulnerable, such as when they're being given negative feedback. But if the intention of your negative feedback session is to be heard and to promote growth, carving out that listening time and making that space for the other person, it really increases the chance that your feedback will be received and assimilated by them, and that you'll feel heard as well. Finally, number 3, what happens when we take this curious listening approach? Well, a few things happen. It diffuses the stress response and it lessens your discomfort and their discomfort in the situation. And that in turn clears a path for better communication. The discussion becomes more of a collaboration, and in that collaborative space, the issue then becomes something that has the potential to be solved and worked on. Finally, the person that is getting the feedback, they get to retain their power and their sense of agency. It keeps them in the driving seat, and that gives them the capacity to manoeuvre change. I hope all of this was helpful, and if you have any thoughts around this, I'd absolutely love to hear from you. If you're interested in what I do, you can find the link to my Listening Labs website below. But in the meantime, take good care, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.